Johnny, how much are the chains?
This by itself, half kilo gold, 3,400 per ounce. Each of them 10 broider. So this will have $1 million piece. The necklace, 1.3 kilo gold. 150 carat on the diamond. So just $1 million on the neck. This is a big foil. Each diamond, $4,500. A carat is, just do the math, just 300,000 lights.
A former insider who spent years working inside Johnny Dang's operation stepped out and started making claims that went far beyond normal internet drama. He wasn't an outsider throwing shots. He was someone who knew the process, the pricing, the sourcing, everything that happens behind the scenes before a piece ends up around a rapper's neck. And what he said raised a question that spread through hip-hop faster than any diss track could. Are artists paying for natural diamonds and getting something worth a fraction of that? Here's the full story. The insider, the artist who responded, and why Johnny Dang's reaction to all of it might be the most revealing part of everything that happened. Johnny Dang's story starts in a flea market in Houston. He came from Vietnam with almost nothing, fixed watches and repaired chains wherever he could, and slowly built something that nobody saw coming. When hip-hop's obsession with custom jewelry started accelerating, he understood it before most traditional jewelers did. Bigger pieces, flashier styles, custom grills that turned teeth into status symbols. He linked up with Paul Wall, the doors opened, and rappers started pulling up. Gucci Mane, Travis Scott, Chief Keef, eventually artists at every level. At a certain point, getting your jewelry from Johnny Dang wasn't just about the diamonds. It was about credibility. His name became part of the product itself. That reputation is exactly what made the accusations hit so hard when they came from someone who had been inside it. Plug Geo had reportedly worked closely with Johnny Dang for years. Not a peripheral figure, someone with genuine access to how the operation ran. He knew which pieces were sourced how, what the pricing structures looked like, and how clients were handled at different levels. When he stepped out and started speaking publicly, the claims he made were specific. That customers were sometimes paying top dollar without fully understanding what they were actually receiving. The distinction that matters here is between natural diamonds and lab-grown ones. Natural diamonds form underground over millions of years. Lab-grown diamonds, also called CVD diamonds, are created in controlled environments in a matter of weeks. Visually, they are nearly identical. A standard diamond tester often can't distinguish between them, but the price difference is significant. A natural diamond can cost several times more than a lab-grown stone of the same size and clarity. If someone is paying $50,000 believing they're buying natural diamonds and receiving lab-grown ones without clear disclosure, what they paid for and what they have are two completely different things in terms of market value. Geo didn't just make these claims and disappear. He added another layer. He said his work had generated millions for the business, and that he hadn't been compensated in a way that reflected his contribution. That frustration was part of what pushed him to leave, and when he left, he didn't go quietly. He started building his own name in the same space, positioning himself as a direct competitor. That combination, accusations about the product plus a rival operation launching at the same time, is what made people take the situation seriously. Competition alone doesn't generate this much attention. But competition plus insider knowledge, plus specific claims about what customers are actually buying, that's a different conversation entirely. The credibility of the accusations was reinforced by what happened with Chief Keef. He walked into a regular jewelry store, not to buy anything, not to shop around, specifically to test his own chain. He ran a diamond tester across his pendant and his watch. Both came back green. Everything checked out, and yet the moment spread across the internet not as reassurance, but as a signal. Because the question people focused on wasn't the result. It was the reason. Why did someone who spent serious money, who trusted the jeweler enough to wear the piece publicly, feel the need to go verify it independently? When an artist at that level has enough doubt to go get his own jewelry tested, it tells the rest of the culture that the doubt exists, even inside the circle. That matters more than the outcome of the test because it confirms that questions are being asked in places where questions didn't used to exist. The moment that made the situation undeniable came from Sauce Walka. He had been one of Johnny Dang's most consistent clients for nearly 2 decades. The relationship wasn't transactional in the distant sense. It was built over years of spending, repeat business, and the kind of loyalty that gets reinforced every time an artist wears a piece publicly and helps grow the brand's visibility. By some accounts, he had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over that period. Then, he publicly switched to Plug Geo. He didn't do it quietly. He did it on camera, showing off a new grill and calling it an upgrade. That word, upgrade, was the sharpest part of the statement. It wasn't, "I went somewhere else." It was, "This is better than what I had." After 2 decades with the same jeweler, that's not a business decision. It's a verdict. In the hip-hop jewelry world, loyalty between an artist and a jeweler is almost a partnership. The artist wears the pieces, the jeweler builds visibility through that exposure, and both benefit from the association. When a long-term client walks away publicly and uses the word upgrade to describe the switch, it gives weight to everything the former insider had been saying. It tells the audience, this person was close enough to know something, and what they saw made them leave. Lil Durk added a layer that shifted the frame beyond just Johnny Dang specifically. In a conversation that circulated online, he made a broader point that many rappers are paying serious money for jewelry without fully understanding what they're buying. He didn't tie it to one name or one store. He presented it as a pattern. That statement mattered because Durk has no obvious stake in this specific situation. When someone with no side to pick says this is happening, it stops sounding like targeted accusation and starts sounding like industry reality. When Johnny Dang finally responded, he didn't come out swinging. He stayed calm, which surprised people expecting a defensive reaction. He characterized the accusations as coming from a disgruntled former employee, framing them as personal grievance rather than factual exposure. That framing was deliberate. It positioned him as someone who had dealt with an internal problem, not someone with something to hide. He also leaned into transparency about the lab-grown versus natural distinction rather than denying it entirely. His argument was essentially that lab-grown diamonds aren't fake. They're structurally real. They pass tests, they look identical, they're simply produced differently and priced accordingly. He posted videos demonstrating diamond testing. He explained the difference publicly. He made the case that customers who understood what they were buying had received what they paid for. That argument is defensible on its own terms. Lab-grown diamonds aren't fraudulent products. The problem is that the argument only holds if customers were genuinely informed about what they were purchasing. If someone paid natural diamond prices while believing they were getting natural diamonds, the distinction between real and lab-grown doesn't resolve the issue. It becomes the issue. He addressed Sauce Walka without escalating. No aggression, no public back and forth, just a calm acknowledgement that people are free to shop wherever they choose. That restraint was either confidence or strategy, and from the outside, it's impossible to tell which. His business continued moving. New pieces, new clients, new posts showing celebrities wearing his work. If the controversy was supposed to collapse the operation, it didn't. In hip-hop, years of relationship building carry weight that internet rumors struggle to overcome. The artists who grew up with Johnny Dang's pieces as part of their identity don't abandon that history because of claims from a former employee and a public switch from one artist, even a significant one. But the conversation didn't disappear either. That's the unusual position this situation created. Johnny Dang is still standing. His reputation is still largely intact. His business is still running. And at the same time, more people are asking questions about jewelry and hip-hop than they were before any of this started. Artists who never thought to verify their pieces are now thinking about it. People are asking for certifications, comparing prices, wanting to understand what they're actually buying, rather than simply trusting a name. That shift doesn't require a legal finding or a confirmed fraud to be real. It just requires enough doubt to make people more careful. And the doubt is out there now in a way it wasn't before. Whether everything Plug Geo claimed is accurate, whether Sauce Walka's switch was about product quality or something else, whether Chief Keef's test revealed anything beyond confidence, none of that has been definitively resolved. What has changed is that trust in this space now comes with more scrutiny attached to it. And in an industry where the entire value proposition is built on that trust, more scrutiny means a different game. Johnny Dang built his empire on the fact that his name was enough. That may still be true, but it's being tested in a way it never was before. Do you think the insider claims reveal something real about how the jewelry business works? Or is this competition and jealousy dressed up as exposure? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe for more breakdowns on the business moves happening behind hip-hop's biggest names.